Light Slave, The Cost of Knowledge, Chapter 1, Shadow. The cool breeze moved through the window where a boy who goes by the name Shadow was seated. Nobody really knows his true name, or maybe they didn't care, they just gave him that nickname because he acted like one. There were people in his class who acted like they were the main characters of the world. Loud laughter in the hallway, confident walks, groups that formed and broke apart like they were following some invisible script only they understood. And then there was him, Shadow. That wasn't the name his parents gave him, it was something that stuck over time, like dust that refused to be brushed off. At first, it started as a joke. You didn't hear him speak during group work again. Did he even exist in class today? He's like a shadow, man, always there but never really there. It wasn't meant to be cruel. For some reason, people liked him. He was always there to help and never took credit for it. So no one really bothered to make him an enemy, 'cause that's the law of the jungle. It's either you're useful or you're forced to be useful. What people didn't notice was that they never really bothered to notice, rather, was that Shadow wasn't dull. He was just quiet in a way that made people uncomfortable. Teachers sometimes asked questions he already knew the answers to, and when he answered them, he didn't try to sound smart, he didn't add extra flair or wait for approval, he simply answered and looked away. When classmates copied his homework, he didn't complain. When group projects succeeded because of his planning, he didn't correct anyone when they took credit for it. He just let it happen. Some people thought he didn't care, others thought he was scared. The truth was simpler than both. He just didn't see the point in being seen. To him, attention was expensive and unnecessary. That was probably why he spent most of his time reading web novels on his phone under his desk. Stories about survival worlds, systems, hunters, monsters, impossible choices. He liked those kind of stories because they made sense in a strange way. Even when the world was unfair, there were rules. Even when people died, it followed logic and creativity. His world, however, didn't feel like that. His world felt like it was forced and dictated by the people who are already above. And yet, ironically, he was good at surviving it. Not because he fought, but because he observed. That was what made everything strange. He was the smartest person in the class, but no one really knew it, because he never claimed it. It started on a Tuesday afternoon, just another average day for him. The school was loud in the usual way, people chatting, some engaging in sports activities, while others looking for a way to socialize. Shadow was sitting alone, like always, pretending to scroll through his phone, though he had already finished the chapter he was reading. Then someone stopped in front of his desk. He didn't look up immediately. People stopped in front of his desk for many reasons, usually to ask for help, or to copy answers, or to joke. But this time the silence felt different. When he finally raised his eyes, he saw her. She wasn't the most popular girl in the school, not the loudest, not the type people surrounded. But she had something that made people remember her face, even if they didn't remember her name. She was looking at him like she had already made up her mind about something. "Shadow," she said. He blinked slightly. Most people didn't call him that directly. Not like it was normal. "Yeah?" he answered. There was a pause. A short one, but heavy enough to feel like it stretched. Then she said something that didn't fit into his usual expectations of the world. "I like you." For a second, he thought he misheard her. Not because the words were unclear, but because they didn't belong in his life. People didn't say things like that to him. Not seriously, not directly, not without irony. He stared at her for a moment, trying to find the joke, trying to find the hidden meaning, the angle, the trick. But there was none. She was serious. That was worse. His mind didn't panic, it simply went quiet. Then, almost automatically, he asked, "Why?" She tilted her head slightly like she already expected that question. "Because you're not annoying," she said simply. That made him pause. "That's the reason?" She smiled faintly. "No, that's just the first reason." There was another pause. "I noticed something about you," she continued. "You're actually really smart. You just don't show it off." Shadow looked away for a second. That was dangerous. Not the compliment, the observation. People usually didn't see that part. And you don't take credit for anything, she added, even when you're the reason things work. That hit closer. He didn't respond immediately. She leaned a little closer, lowering her voice slightly. "That's why they call you Shadow, right?" He hesitated. "Something like that." She nodded slowly, like she already understood more than he said. "You're always there," she continued, "but you never try to stand in the light." Shadow didn't know what to say to that because she wasn't wrong, but she also wasn't supposed to know. And somehow that made her different from everyone else. It didn't take long before things escalated into something he wasn't used to. A walk after school, a conversation that didn't feel forced, then a proper date. It was simple. No fancy restaurant, no expensive setting, just a quiet place where the noise of the world felt far away for a while. Shadow didn't talk much at first, he never did, but she didn't seem bothered by that. Instead, she filled the silence naturally, like she understood that silence wasn't empty for him. It was just how he processed things. At one point, she asked, "Do you always think this much?" He blinked. "Think what?" "Everything," she said, "like you're calculating something even when you're just walking." He paused. "It helps," he said. She smiled again. "I think it makes you interesting." That word again, interesting. He wasn't sure if that was good or bad. As the evening went on, something unfamiliar started to happen. He relaxed, not fully, not but enough. Enough that he almost forgot to be careful. They talked about small things, school, books, random thoughts. At one point, she laughed at something he said, something he didn't even realize was funny until she reacted. And for a brief moment, he thought, maybe this is what normal feels like. It ended up in a quiet place near the end of the walk. Streetlights had started turning on, the sky was shifting into deep blue. There was a pause between them, a natural one, not awkward, just final. She looked at him, he looked back. Neither of them said anything for a moment, then she stepped closer. Shadow didn't move, not because he didn't understand what was happening, but because he did. His face was close now. Her face was close now, close enough that he could hear her breathing. And for the first time, he didn't analyze it, he just felt it. She was about to kiss him. And he thought, so this is how it happens. No dramatic thoughts, no overthinking, just acceptance and strangely happiness. Then the world broke. There was no sound, no explosion, no warning, just a switch in reality. His body didn't move forward, it dropped, not falling through the air, but through something that wasn't space anymore. His last clear thought before everything shattered was not fear, it was confusion. What is happening?